Is everything you know wrong about kidney trafficking? Just last week, 23rd of July, 44 people were arrested in New Jersey. One of them, Levi Itzhak Rosenbaum, New York City resident, was trying to orchestrate the sale of a human kidney for $160,000. This is the black market kidney trade in the United States. The World Health Organization estimates that organ trafficking accounts for 5 to 10% of all kidney transplants worldwide. It is mostly impoverished and desperate sellers and wealthy and sick customers. And according to Time magazine, this is I'm not sure if this is their cover story, but this is a major story in the July 27 issue of Time. And predatory middlemen in Iran, which is the only country where it's legal to sell a kidney, they go for $6,000. That's about half the amount in India. It's $12,000. Where there's an abundance of doctors, it's illegal. But there's lots of doctors and lots of poor people who are more than willing to sell their kidneys to Americans or others. In China, from China News, the acknowledgement that kidneys from executed prisoners in China were being sold to wealthy Japanese and wealthy foreigners came about 2 weeks after China announced it would tighten oversight of capital cases, requiring the death sentences be approved by the country's highest court. Legal estimates estimate that will reduce executions by about a third. Executions for organs what's the deal? What's the business? What's going on here? Daniel Asa Rose, DanielAsaRose.com, his website, wrote a book, Being the True Story of How I Found Myself in China with My Black Sheep Cousin and His Mail-Order Bride, Skirting the Law to Get Him a Transplant and Save His Life. The book is Larry's Kidney, and it's written sort of like a... Daniel, first of all, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Tom. Nice to be here.
Glad to have you with us. The book is written like sort of it's an autobiographical... in some ways, it reminds me of a Carl Hiaasen novel. The weird characters and the comedic turns and all. But underneath it all, and frankly, I didn't think you dealt with it that much in the book. Although address that is this very troubling moral issue of rich people buying kidneys from poor people, or even worse, in the case of China in some cases, getting kidneys from people who were executed because it was profitable for the government, and hey, we don't need these stinking political prisoners anyway.
Yeah, who would think there would be a comedy about such a serious issue, right?
Yeah.
It's a terribly serious issue, but the underlying, even more serious issue is that 13 Americans die every day waiting for a kidney.
Yep.
We have a waiting list of, I don't know, I think about 80,000 people right now in America, and it's going to be up to 100,000 by the end of next year. And it's backlogged. The whole thing, we've got so many rules and restrictions against donating and stuff like that people are desperate. Well,
there's a very easy solution to that, and that is for us to go to an opt-out system instead of an opt-in system.
Oh, Tom, this is what I've been talking about, man. Yeah. I had an op-ed in the New York Times 2 weeks ago saying that would be so simple. All we have to do is right now you're presumed to not want to donate your organs, so they bury you. But if you're presumed to want to do it, then you have to go out of your way to opt out. And 3 countries have done this in Europe: Belgium, Norway, and Spain. And you know what? It's opened the floodgates for organs.
Yeah, and people don't have to wait forever, and it's really simple. I mean, right now, when I got my driver's license to the DMV, if I want to be an organ donor, I have to sign the back of my driver's license. Now, that's a whole lot easier than in a lot of states, where you actually have to put it into your will.
I know.
But still, I had to take an effort to say, or anybody in the state has to take an effort to say, yes, I'm willing to give up my organs when I die.
Right.
It should be the other way around. It should be that I sign the back of my driver's license saying, no, do not give my organs away, and perhaps even saying, here's the reason. I've got an infectious disease, or I have a religion that forbids it, or I'm just, I think it's creepy or whatever. But people should be forced to opt out of it rather than being asked to opt into it. This is really simple stuff.
I totally agree with you. Do you think we can change it in this country? Just reverse that donation default?
Is there any, Daniel Asa Rose, you've written this book, Larry's Kidney, and it does a great job of telling the story, of the adventure of getting a kidney outside the United States system.
Yeah.
But what I'm sure, and that plus your New York Times editorial, you're in the midst of this stuff.
Yeah, man.
What is the political climate in America? I mean, who would be opposed other than the Jehovah's Witnesses. I mean, there's a few religious sects who explicitly forbid blood transfusions and organ donations. But other than them, who's opposed to this?
I agree with you. Who in their right mind would want to oppose this? I don't know. It must be maybe people who want to keep their guns close to their kidneys. I don't know.
No, I mean, this is a serious question. When you did the New York Times op-ed, have you been in touch with any politicians? Is there any kind of political movement for this? I mean, if you've got thousands of people in America every week or every month dying, literally dying, you would think that there would be tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of relatives of those people who would be contacting their legislators saying, "What the hell is going on here?"
Well, Tom, let's start it. Let's do a grassroots thing.
There is none to the best of your knowledge.
There is none, no. In fact, I got a lot of controversial letters against my article from the medical establishment. And that's what Larry was getting, too. Larry was on dialysis for 2 years down in his Florida condo. If you've ever known anybody on dialysis, it's no life. They take your blood out for 4 or 5 hours, they clean it, they put it back in, and you're addled for like 12 hours. You don't even know what day it is. It's just a horrible life. And they told him, hey, this is the way it's going to be for 7 to 10 more years until we can hustle you up a kidney. And they just sit tight, they said. And Larry said, you know what? The hell with that. I'm going to tap my cousin Daniel, who used to know people in China 25 years ago, and we're going to go over there and we're going to get one illegally, hook or crook.
Right.
So he tapped me, and we went.
Yeah, and you did it. And you guys will have to wrestle with the morality of that. I'm wondering how you and your cousin feel about that in retrospect.
Yeah. Well, I was very conflicted in the beginning. I thought I'd heard all the horror stories that the American media tells us about prisoners and religious dissidents, and some people even claim they kidnap school children to harvest their organs. A lot of this is hysteria, Tom, just anti-Chinese hysteria. When you get, everything looks scary from afar, but when you get over there and you meet the people and you meet the surgeons in these super clean, super scientific hospitals, and you see that these are decent human beings who want to do the right thing, you see many more shades of gray.
Where are they getting their organs from?
Ready? You ready?
Yeah.
Prisoners. Yeah. But the reason it took us 2 months, we didn't know how long it was going to take us. First of all, we were very lucky to get hooked up in the first place because we didn't have any contacts there. We had no plan. We didn't have much money. Larry had enough money to get over there, and so did I. I went on my own dime. But Larry, neither of us are rich guys. We just thought, we'll go over there and we'll figure it out when we land. Right. And that's what we did. We were lucky enough to get in contact with some hospitals and some doctors. And the reason it took us 2 months of sitting in a Chinese hospital in the west of China was because they had to go through legal channels. Right. They had to find a prisoner.
China should do an opt-out system, just like we should do an opt-out system if they want to have medical tourism of this sort.
Well, they gave according to the doctor, and it was.
We just have about 30 seconds here, Larry.
Okay, Dan.
Or Daniel.
This doctor needed 2 months to fill out all the forms, go to court, get the family's permission, get the prisoner's permission, and all that. So we had conflicts. On the other hand, we had to find a way to save his life, given the American situation.
Yeah, and the American situation is plain old flat-out nuts. And Daniel Asa Rose, his book is Larry's Kidney. Daniel, if you find any organization or any group who is starting a political movement to nationwide or on a state-by-state basis make organ donation opt-out rather than opt-in, please let me know. We'll do another show on it.
I sure will, buddy.
Thank you. Daniel Asa Rose, Larry's Kidney is the book.